What happened in the criminally underrated crime thriller movie called Barron'S Cove? Welcome to House of Spoilers. You guys asked for them, so here they are. Barron'S Cove opens with a boy in a school uniform running through the woods towards the sound of a train barreling down the tracks. He looks afraid and worried, but he does not stop. Once he reaches the tracks, he waves his hands in the air, telling another boy with blonde hair to let the third one go because the train's coming. So the blonde boy frantically unties his wrists, but he is still unconscious and the train is getting closer. The opening scene cuts with the third boy outstretched on the tracks and the blonde one staring down the face of the train. That is where we meet Caleb, a man who is trying his best to do his job and rebuild his life for his son Barron. But let's just say people keep trying to pull him back down. You see, Caleb is working for his uncle Benji at his construction supply business, but off the books, he is an enforcer for the illegal activity that goes on behind the scenes. And this is a life that he is really trying to leave behind. On this particular day, Caleb is trying to go home early to pick up Barron so they can go to the lake house, but his uncle Benji keeps him there later to have a little chat with him. Caleb's attempts to be a good father are conflicting with what his uncle needs from him, and since in some capacity Caleb owes him, he folds. After he finishes what his uncle asked him to do, he goes to his ex-wife Jackie's house to pick up Barron. But that is when they make this heart-dropping discovery. Barron never came home from school. He is missing. As everyone is out looking for Barron, the police find a body on the train tracks. Caleb storms the crime scene and is devastated when he sees the white sheet. They immediately go to the police station to identify the items that could tell them if the body was Barron's. And while Caleb is in denial, Jackie is more so blinded by rage towards him for not being there. If only he was there to pick him up, this would never happen. That's when the detective pulls out a piece of clothing to see if they recognize it. Caleb discards it, but Jackie immediately knows it's his and completely loses her shit, leading her to be removed from the room. Now the detectives are questioning Caleb alone, possibly alluding to him being responsible, which would anger any parent in that situation. But just before leaving, Detective Navarro asks Caleb if he knows the two boys who had last seen him, which he replies that he does not. But once he sees the blonde one sitting in the waiting area, he immediately goes to confront him, asking if he knew what happened. This boy is the adopted son of a politician who is running for council. His name is Ethan, and he has a disgusting sense of entitlement, aka he's a little shit. And once people notice that Caleb is trying to question him, he immediately gets pulled away. Then a few days later, they have the funeral. During the wake, Caleb's uncle Benji tells him to take however much time he needs off. But Caleb is adamant about figuring out what happened. Benji pushes back though, telling him that he'll handle it and that all Caleb needs to do right now is get his mind together. During this time, Detective Navarro goes to speak with the captain, who is in the room with Lyle, Ethan's father, the politician, revealing to Navarro that apparently Barron's home life was horrible, and he tries to claim that his death was a self-deletion situation. Now, Detective Navarro is a little uneasy about this conclusion, so he goes to the wake to question Caleb about Barron's home life and asks if he's ever experienced depression, which sets Caleb off because he already knows what he's trying to get at. To make matters worse, the news comes on and now the police are reporting to the press, telling the entire world about Barron's death and how he did it himself, which sets everyone at this wake off, and also getting Detective Navarro kicked out. A while after this takes place, we learn a little bit more about Ethan. As I mentioned, he is a little shit, and in some capacity, he gets rewarded for it because his father doesn't want to deal with him. And on this day, Caleb shows up to Lyle's campaign booth to ask Ethan questions, but they are immediately super defensive and have him escorted away by the security. This only pisses Caleb off more. He goes after the other kid, breaking into their house searching for answers. That's where he finds a binder with a morbid picture drawn of all the boys on the train tracks and Barron's lifeless body. Caleb goes to show his uncle Benji this picture, who keeps telling him to leave this situation alone, swearing that he'll handle it, especially because Ethan's father is about to become a state senator, which only makes him dangerous and basically untouchable. Caleb does not care, saying anything that he had to lose before is already gone. But Benji keeps on pushing back. Little does he know, it's only going to send him over the edge. Caleb devises this plan. He goes to the school and kidnaps Ethan, taking him to the lake house to try and get information. And he was intimidating this child the same exact way he did to the grown men his uncle would send him to. And while this is going on, Detective Navarro is still trying to piece everything together as well as try to find Ethan now. So he goes to Jackie's house looking for answers. He tells her that he believes that Barron did not take his own life, but he needs to find Ethan because he's afraid that Caleb will do something to him. But the truth is, although this kid has a mouth on him, Caleb can't actually pull through with physically hurting him or even taking his life. Once he realizes this, he sits down and has a moment of vulnerability, telling Ethan what he and Barron were planning to do with this lake house. He's always had this fear of the ocean because he can't swim, so they were going to turn it into something like an aquarium. And this was Barron's attempt to help his father overcome his fear of the sea. You can tell Caleb is broken, hurting, and all he wants is his son back. And this creates a moment where Ethan seems to start trusting Caleb as he begins to cry and open up about what happened. Through his tears, he says that he tried to save him and says that he can't tell him everything because they will kill him. The they being his father, who at the time is sitting on his yacht throwing a fit because Ethan is still missing. But as you listen to Lyle and his father's conversation, you start to notice something is off. It is revealed that he only adopted Ethan for publicity and votes, at the orders of his father, who is hard to please. And Lyle's father warns him that if he doesn't get this mess sorted out, he's on his own. Mind you, this news of Caleb taking Ethan is not good for his uncle's business, and he's not very happy about it. But soon we learn that this situation is even more twisted than Caleb could have ever imagined. Once Caleb learns that Ethan's father was behind it all, he cuts the ropes and gives him a change of clothes. What was before a cold, vengeful demeanor is now more compassionate and mixed with the somberness of grief. As Ethan lays in Barron's room, you can tell that he is full of regret for what he had done, especially when he finds a photo album full of the life that used to be. Little did he or Caleb know this quiet night was about to take a turn. There are some men closing in on the lake house, and they're there to find Ethan and take Caleb's life. Once he realizes what's going on, he manages to grab Caleb and escape, but not before Ethan gets hit by a bullet. We'll check back on him later because we are about to get a huge plot twist. We learn that Benji is secretly working with Lyle, and the men that came after them, well, they were his men. You see, they need each other's help. Lyle needs Benji to find Ethan, and Benji needs Lyle if he wants to expand his illegal business. I'm talking contracts signed, money made, and, well, he's willing to sacrifice his own nephew to do it. During this time, Caleb goes to an old friend for help, the same one that he previously lied to while he was preparing for his abduction plan. He needs his help because, like I said, Ethan got shot. Thankfully, he was still alive and breathing, and the man was able to save him. But trust me when I tell you, things are not getting better yet. Caleb calls Jackie because he feels like he has no one else. What he doesn't know is that Jackie is talking to him in a room full of police officers listening in. They are trying to set him up. But then Caleb says something that brings her to tears and makes her rethink everything she's doing. Essentially, she foils the police's plan and tells Caleb not to go to the place that they were previously talking about meeting. Now the police are scrambling and Caleb is taking off, going to the one person that he believes is his last chance. His uncle, Benji. And instead of helping him, he has his men capture him, beating him up in front of Ethan. That's where we learned that Ethan wasn't as innocent as he portrayed himself to be. It was revealed that not only did he have involvement in Barron's death, but he did so out of jealousy and envy. Oh, and on top of that, the sob story that he told Caleb about what happened that day, he was only mimicking the other boy's testimony, word for word. And after Caleb tries to fight back, escape, and even get Ethan, they beat up Caleb really badly. Then afterwards, they take Ethan to the hospital where he's united with his father. And Lyle's only plans with him now are just to continue parading him around, especially because he's been elected for office. As for Caleb, he's taken on the road, but somehow manages to escape when he goes to the bathroom at this gas station. This is where things get real crazy, leading into the climax. After he escapes, Caleb goes straight to Detective Navarro's house, for a reason that will be revealed later. Afterwards, he shows up to Lyle's event almost like a ghost. Once Uncle Benji sees him, he begins to panic, immediately going to tell Lyle. And Lyle goes to grab Ethan and gets the hell out of there, driving straight to his yacht, not knowing that Caleb is trailing behind. Once he sees him, Lyle grabs Ethan, holding him hostage, threatening to kill his own kid. But Caleb reveals that he's not after Lyle, he just wants to take Ethan's life. And he says that if Lyle gives Ethan to him, allowing him to kill him, then he'll do whatever he wants. Just anything so he can get justice for his son. And guess what? Lyle agrees. He hands over Ethan. Ethan pleads for help, begging Caleb not to kill him. And while he has a pistol pointed at Ethan's head, Caleb stares him down, while Lyle is in the background demanding that he kills the kid already. But then the plot twists. This was all a setup. Detective Navarro heard everything and has Lyle cornered. That's when Lyle, who has no way out of this, shoots Caleb, sending him into the ocean. At the same time, Detective Navarro shoots Lyle, ending his life. Now there's this moment where you wonder if Caleb survives. Not only has he been shot, but remember, he can't swim either. But that's when he is saved by Detective Navarro, and soon after taken to the hospital. There, he learns that Ethan has confessed to everything, but he still has to face the consequences for what he did. Caleb literally kidnapped a kid. So once he's cleared, the officers cuff him, and just before they're about to put him in the back of the squad car, he sees Ethan standing in the window. They make eye contact just before Caleb is guided into the back seat. The film ends with the police car driving down the road. That's when the police car takes a turn down an alley. And strangely enough, both officers get out and walk away. In the distance, we can see two men walking up from behind. When Caleb sees them, he knows there's no more fighting. There's nothing he can do to get out of this situation. So he closes his eyes, and when he opens them, he sees his son Barron sitting right next to him, giving this bittersweet ending.